entirely between each series. And that does mean the element of surprise can really catch you off guard. Here we can see the classes and the bans. We can see a banned rogue and a banned druid.
Yeah, I do like this druid ban from Maru because Cheonsu's druid is very much tech to beat the mirror and can also do very well against priest because it's a bit greedier. And something we also have to mention is that Cheonsu's priest is not your everyday Rasa priest. It's in fact a silence priest, which we saw a while ago.
It's pretty rare that we're actually going to see both priests being played. We did in the last series as well, actually, that JD and Lothar cast. There was a priest mirror match, but one of those was Highlander and one of those was Silence. And that was me not even thinking that Silence Priest was a deck coming into this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess APAC is kind of well known for bringing some decks that are off the wall, and Korea being one of the more prominent countries in this region has maybe kind of spearheading the innovation. Also, Gio, I've got to give you the credit because we were going through these deck lists just before we came onto the desk and we said, right, what do you think is going to get banned? And you got them spot on. You said Rogue on one side and you said Druid on the other. I don't even remember what I said, but thanks for making me look good,
You did,
Dan.
That's what you said. And the Rogue ban makes a lot of sense as well. It's pretty clear that Cheonsu's lineup doesn't like aggro too much. There's no Galacca Crawlers, not much anti-aggro tech at all. Rogue is one of the scariest aggressive decks in the game right now. He's decided to ban that rather than the Hunter, but ultimately, even if the Hunter does get a win, it doesn't matter too much. It's Conquest, and if his whole strategy is to prevent those control decks from winning, then he's going to come out on top regardless.
Yeah, absolutely. We even saw in the player interviews, these players were talking about exactly what they were trying to do with their lineups, and Cheonsu said, oh, I really don't want to face aggro decks. Maru said, I really don't want to face control decks. And I guess Maru got the better end of that because Cheonsu is not bringing a single control type deck.
Yeah, it's not the first time today we've seen that, actually. Going back right to the first series, one of the players said, I don't like facing aggro. The other player said, I don't like facing control. We seem to have a lot of these mixed opinions as we jump into game number one. It's going to be the Silence Priest versus Hunter.
Yeah, and not the greatest opening for Maru here, not having the Alley Cat into Razor Maw, but he was debating keeping a 2-drop just to make sure that you have something on board, and I wouldn't hate it, given that he's going second, has some chances to draw better things, but he's going to go full greed and get maybe a stronger curve as well.
Yeah, those Galacca Crawlers are completely pointless in this series because there's no pirates present in Maru's lineup, in Cheonsu's lineup whatsoever.
Yeah, and another thing that we saw a while ago from the text is that Cheonsu has Eater of Secrets in his Druid and Dirty Rat as well. So
Eater
maybe
of Secrets in his Druid.
Probably just making sure you never lose to Quest Mage.
Right. Yeah. Quest Mage, which doesn't exist. Yeah, there's no mage whatsoever in Maru's lineup, so a pointless tech on both sides. The crab for Maru and the Eater for Cheonsu.
So Maru not with the ideal start. I guess having a 1-drop that brings out patches is pretty good, but it's not a beast.
I'll take Corsair on turn 1 any day.
Sure, but Cheonsu has like pretty much the best early game 2-card combo, which is Radiant plus Power Word Shield, and Maru already would have to invest either like the Eagle Horn bow to fully clear this along with his minions.
Yeah, this isn't something you see that often nowadays in Highlander Priest, this combination of cards. It's something you used to see a lot in Dragon Priest back in the Ungora days, but because Highlander Priests
it's actually Silence Priest though.
Yeah, but now like also in the Silence Priest, because you can run 2 of all of these cards, you will see it a lot.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, Maru definitely has to respect this because letting the Radiant just take some value trades and heal up means that like he will not be able to get enough board pressure.
Yep.
Which is absolutely everything to the Hunter here. So Cheonsu, I guess he will. Okay, I was thinking he might just drop the Acolyte even though it's dies straight up to the bow.
All of his plays seem pretty bad this turn. He drops the Acolyte, as you said, and it just dies to the bow. Get 1 draw. That's what he's going to go for. But what was the alternative? You drop Cleric and heal face? That seems just as bad, especially with 2 Circle of Healings in hand. With this hand, if Cheonsu draws Wild Pyromancer, suddenly he can draw half of his deck.
Yes.
So saving the Cleric does seem vital.
Alright, so pretty straightforward turn from Maru. Of course, Bear Shark, one of the most back-breaking cards for Priest to deal with. I have heard casters use that word a lot, back-breaking. I do like it.
It's a good word. And that's a pretty good pickup for Cheonsu. I was wondering if he'd even go the Cabal Talon Priest plus Powered Shield, but no, he's going to throw down the Northshire Cleric. And if this doesn't get dealt with, then it's going to start drawing Cheonsu a lot of cards.
Yeah, I definitely like going wider on the board there because one, it's better against Deadly Shot, and also just having one thing stick as Silence Priest allows you to make sure that you have a target if you top deck something like Divine Spirit.
However, if both of these cards do get dealt with, which it looks like they will, Cheonsu's going to be in a bit of a tough spot with only one minion to play Power Word Shield on and 2 Circle of Healings in the hand, which are useless. Maru's leaving the Cleric alive. I was expecting to see Deadly Shot this turn.
Yeah, I mean, I was also expecting that, but I guess he's saving it for something like the 4/8. Oh my gosh, the names are so...
Humongous Razor Leaf.
Yes. So I wouldn't mind that so much. It would have been funny to see, though, just like the Hunter being the responder in this matchup against Priest.
Alright, Shadow Word Pain not going to do much against Bear Shark for various reasons.
Yeah. This Cleric looking like it's going to be immortal, and it's going to eat a Deadly Shot pretty soon, so Maru going to be heavily repaired.
That'll work. I'll take that. It's a good job that Cheonsu doesn't have the ability to drop that Divine Spirit as well, because that Deadly Shot is going to get enough value as it is. Maru is able to drop a Kindly Grandmother as well. And the next turn, he's got another Grandmother, an Animal Companion. Pretty much whatever he wants to do. Cheonsu needs to pick up something urgently that he can stick to the board.
Yeah, absolutely. And this Deadly Shot is just a one-of in the deck, so pretty thankful for Maru there. And even though he's had a hard time kind of keeping the board in the early game, seems like he's finally wrested control of it. And Animal Companion into Animal Companion gives you 2 chances at getting a 2 and 3/4 attack minion, which of course Priest cannot deal with easily. So Cheonsu forced to just drop this Crazed Alchemist as a 2-mana 2/2.
I'm looking through Cheonsu's deck list right now, and I'm struggling to work out what he can draw, like what one card he can draw that allows him to come back into this. There's no one card that draws him several cards. Pyromancer would allow him to clear the board, I guess, if he played Divine Spirit on it and healed it up. And it's not looking good though. Like, he's not generating more value. The Silence Priest that we saw in the previous series ran the Cabal. What is it called? Song Stealer. Cabal Song Stealer. Which is just a big body without requiring anything else. But Cheonsu's late game is literally just Lyra. Lyra could help, actually, thinking about it.
For sure. So an interesting decision for Maru here is whether he wants to play Animal Companion or Razor Maw. Companion getting Leok would be great because he could take the value trade with the Grandmother. Razor Maw, though, I guess would be more consistent to play because you can take Poisonous or Attack, or even in some worlds try to land the health on the Huffer, but I do prefer Adapt on the Grandmother. So he misses both of them, so that's really unlucky. That means that the Huffer will die to this Crazed Alchemist, which is a big deal.
1/1 attack, Poisonous even.
Yeah.
Like, there were so many outs for Maru there to deal with this 2/2 easily, but it didn't happen. That's a bit of a relief for Maru though, because Potion of Madness isn't able to deal with it. Imagine if Maru took Death Rattle there.
Yeah, and then he would have been able to, like, Cheonsu would have had a 3/2 and 2 1/1s on board, which is like a complete board reversal, but nice result for Maru there. Misha, of course, maybe not all that different from Huffer, to be fair, because...
Yeah, Misha dies, Huffer dies a little bit more easily to a Wild Pyromancer combo, I guess.
But it's just about that, right? Because the Silence Priest doesn't run Holy Smite.
No, it is just Pyromancer. Yeah, that's really the best card Cheonsu could draw here to deal with this board. Ancient Watcher isn't bad. It's not quite Humongous Razor Leaf, and there is no Silence present, but if next draws a Purify, then suddenly Cheonsu's back in the game, if Maru doesn't deal with this.
Yeah, but he's on a very quick clock here because this Hunter damage is building up as quickly as Hunters are known to do. And Maru, of course, smartly clearing off the whole board, because if Cheonsu were to draw a Silence effect, then he's out of Deadly Shots. And it just makes sense to deny the Silence Priest of the few threats it can get in the first place.
This hand just is not doing much for Cheonsu. He could have silenced the Misha, Potion of Madness the 1/1, Divine Spirit, Inner Fire, trade into the 3/2. Then he's using up his whole hand and dealing with one minion. It's...
Yeah, very rough for the Silence Priest here, and I think it all stems from that one turn where he decided to go all in with the Cleric and got punished by the Deadly Shot. Although I don't blame Cheonsu for that play at all, because the Deadly Shot is a one-of. And with this kind of deck, the Silence Priest, you kind of have to go all in early to get the advantage against Hunter.
And with that humongous Razor Leaf, we see the concede from Cheonsu. Maru going 1 win up with his Hunter. Now, I will add very, very quickly to the end of that sentence, Cheonsu did say that he's worried about aggro decks.
Yes.
That Hunter is the only aggro deck available to Maru as Cheonsu banned the Rogue.
Exactly.
So Cheonsu would have expected to lose against the Hunter regardless of the situation. Yeah. So that loss, probably the least relevant loss in the series, if we're being honest.
Yeah, from Cheonsu's perspective. Now that leaves Maru's Jade Druid and Highlander Priest, which I think that Cheonsu has been trying to target pretty heavily, at least one of those.
Yeah, things should start to look up from Cheonsu here. Maru and Cheonsu both going to choose the next deck. Obviously, this is best out of 5 Conquest, so neither of the players have to stick to the same deck. Maru has to switch. He's got the Druid and Priest available to him. Cheonsu still has his... Which was Cheonsu's banned deck? He was the Druid, wasn't it? He still has Hunter, Mage, and Priest that he needs to win.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this Mage in action, because the only Mage that we saw today was Pest Mage, which I guess is a bit more common in the tournament setting, but a Tempo Mage, let alone a Tempo Mage with Spellbender, which you and I were trying to talk about before the game. What could that possibly be in the list for?
Well, we're about to find out. It's not going to be as strong against Ro16 Priest as it would have been against Silence Priest. Imagine Spellbender eating up a Purify or something. Yeah. But I'm excited to see the Tempo Mage. Tempo Mage is a very strong deck, has been for a long time, and it still is. It's just quietly in the background. You know, you draw your Mana Worm on turn 1, you get your Arcanologist, Frostbolts, all of that kind of thing on turn 2, and the deck can do amazing things.
Yeah, and the lists for Tempo Mage kind of vary wildly. I've seen some versions running Bone Mare. I'm not sure if it was APX Void's list, but he is considered the authority for Tempo Mage. So if you put a Bone Mare in there, then kind of going off the wall and putting, choosing different cards for your higher end, even Bittertide Hydra, that seems like it's definitely some interesting innovation.
Now, Ro16 Priest is one of these decks that Counterspell can do some pretty nasty things to. Cheonsu's going to want to wait until Maru's used up the coin, obviously. But the problem there is that sometimes Ro16 Priest just holds on to that coin right until they win the game and just use it on turn, 15 with Velen and just shoot Cheonsu for 1 million damage. That's the fear.
Yeah, and Cheonsu, a bit of a wobble of the head here, like, of course he had the Doomsayer.
That's fine, just going to get rid of it. Looks like Cheonsu really going to play a pressure game.
Yeah, and we saw from the second turn right away that choosing to play Apprentice over Arcanologist indicates a really fast game plan, because it would allow him, if the Doomsayer didn't come down and if there wasn't a Shadow Word Pain, to just play the other Apprentice, tempo out the Secret, and just go. But Maru has drawn some game against these early minions from Cheonsu, so it'll be up to Cheonsu to try and make sure that his minions survive.
This second Sorcerer's Apprentice will allow Cheonsu to play both spells. Again, he has to ask himself if he actually wants to play the counterspell or not. Let's see what we draw from Arcane Intellect first. Glyph is fantastic here. Second Arcane Intellect, also really strong.
So the left card Mirror Image. I don't hate it here.
It's Frozen Clone, isn't it?
To take, all right, sure.
It's Frozen Clone. It doesn't even matter particularly what you get from it. You're playing the card for free. You can play counter. Oh no, you can't quite play the counter spell. The Spellbender. But now, Arcanologist is looking pretty useless. I think he's drawn every secret.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's a Mirror Entity.
Okay, yeah, that would be the last secret there. But I mean, he could have some amazing turn of playing 2 secrets and Crystal Runner next turn. It would be a shame that the other Apprentice didn't survive, but I do like the respect trade there, because if Maru's able to land something like a Power Word Shield, then suddenly the Radiant Elemental is getting value trades, and you never want that.
I love this so much, because the first thing you have to do every time a mage plays a secret is you have to play around counterspell. So Maru playing the silence there, realizing, if I silence the Sorcerer's Apprentice, it's not the end of the world, it still does some work, but it means not wasting the coin, because the coin's pretty valuable. But now the coin's going to have to be used when the next secret comes down, and if Cheonsu decides to play Spellbender next, then he may bait out another test for the counterspell.
Yes.
Which means when he finally does play counterspell, he hits something really powerful with it.
Yeah, needless to say, if I were in Maru's spot, not knowing the deck list, if I test, okay, it's not counterspell, you test a bunch of other things, and you just exhaust every option, you're like, what? You're playing Spellbender in your deck?
Yeah. So he's tested for the Mirror Entity and Potion of Polymorph. It's not that, which means the next thing Maru does, I'm fairly certain, is play the coin. And that won't proc the secret. So then what do you expect it to be? Do you ever expect it to be Ice Block?
I doubt it. Like, most of these aggressive mages would cut Ice Block because you don't expect to be in the defensive position. But yeah, I mean, no reason to test with the coin that turn, because in the case that it isn't counterspell, then at least you get the extra mana. So.
But against the Tempo Mage, I guess coining out Prophet Velen isn't the end of the world, because it's not your win condition, is it, to play the Velen after the hero?
Yeah, and just do the pew pew pew.
Yeah, but now you can't, because you've got no idea what that secret is.
Yeah, so Maru here just got to be scratching his head, making. It's true that Secret Mage is one of the most frustrating decks to play around, because you have to take note of a million things.
Yeah.
Like which secrets are in the deck, which have I tested for, which have come from Glyph.
I am surprised that happened, though. I am surprised that the counterspell came down before the coin was played.
Yeah.
I don't fully understand why Cheonsu would have done that, especially as he already had a secret which would have forced Maru to test for counterspell.
It might be a case of not being able to keep track as well, but it's still gonna work out okay for Cheonsu because he has a second secret plus Valier, or just Firelands, which seems the
Firelands
best.
seems strong here.
Oh, I guess he's gonna go for a 2/2/3 here and save the Firelands for a higher health minion.
Sure. He can also play the Mirror Entity if he'd like to, rather than the counterspell. That's sort of a more aggressive grab at the board, I guess.
Sure, and if Maru decides that you need to play Valen here, suddenly that Firelands is dealing 10 damage.
Nah, Maru has to test for that secret first. There's no way he just drops Prophet Valen here. If he does, it's a disaster. Testing for counterspell. This one is not a counterspell.
Right, so Holy Nova gonna get a decent amount of work done at least. He could go for Shadow Word Horror, but I don't know how much you care about the 1/4. Then again, what else does Horror hit?
That's true. That's true. It hits Mana Worms as long as there aren't spells played with them.
Yes.
But you can't guarantee that.
Right, so Cheonsu, I guess this turn starts with a Novice.
Yep. I like that. You almost definitely play the Kirintor Mage and the counterspell.
Just keeping the aggression going, and he has double Firelands to follow up, so this is the higher end of Cheonsu's deck coming together. We haven't seen the Bittertide Hydras and the Cobalt Scalebeams, but I guess they'd be fairly reasonable things to top deck given how much he's already drawn. And Maru actually giving Cheonsu the double Engineer really helped Cheonsu out because he was lacking card draw.
No, the Kirintor Mage into the counterspell doesn't feel as good when you end up with 3 mana left at the end of the turn anyway. He could ping, but it's not that relevant. These 5 mana Kazakus potions, though, I don't believe there was a deal 4 damage to all minions, which would probably be the one Maru was looking for.
Yeah, and also he has probably to note that there's still a counterspell, so he's going to have to choose either Horror or Potion to dump, and I believe it's going to be the Horror. So good patience from Maru, paying off, just giving Cheonsu a 3/3, not too much of a threat, but this is a decent amount of damage stacking up.
So was that potion deal 5 damage and summon a 5/5 demon?
I think so. We can only see the top of it, but that seems the most reasonable to pick. So the Firelands is going straight upstairs.
Going for the dome right now. Cheonsu's decided, you know, I've got enough damage on the board. I've got enough damage in my hand. Let's just end this game sooner rather than later. And yeah, that damage is adding up. Let's see. We've got 14 in the hand, 15 with a ping as well over the next 2 turns. It's very probable that he draws another card that deals face damage soon too.
Yeah, so in Cheonsu's position, he's deciding whether to trade these minions and the ping into the Kazakas or just go all upstairs. And if you're Cheonsu thinking that going all face isn't horrible because Dragonfire Potion is the worst punish for you anyway. But looks like he's just gonna maintain these 3 minions. I guess it's a little bit better. Have you seen the Potion of Madness? I mean,
No, we have not seen Potion
not that
of
it would have done
Madness.
that much, but
So Maru's gonna have to deal with this 5/5 this turn. It means that he's not playing Greater Healing Potion. He can use his Hero Power every turn for free. Obviously, that's... Oh, he can play the Greater Healing as well if he wants to, but it's not that efficient.
Yeah, it's not that likely to die from 13. Has he seen one fireball? But I don't mind waiting for it so you get the full value out of the heal. And it looks like it's gonna help out Maru here, but this seems like just way too much to deal with, even through a greater healing potion.
Okay, Maru's gonna want to see Radiant Elemental here so he can start going off with Lyra. Nope, not gonna happen. I guess we just greater healing
He
potion.
played the Radiant pretty early on, right? And Cheonsu had to trade the Apprentice, so...
Right, of course.
So Maru just probably hoping for another cheap spell, but looks like he might just be forced to play the Lyra anyway and hope to get something. I mean, pint-sized potion? It's not even good enough.
Pint size with horror would be great, but again, we've seen horror used up too. They got countered.
The greater healing has to come down this turn, so I guess it only makes sense to play Lyra as well.
Problem is, oh, okay, Holy Smite is a good card to get from that greater healing potion. It's playable. Unfortunately, it's not good enough because it doesn't kill anything.
Right, so the best Maru can do is remove the 5 damage from the board and heal up to 21. And Cheonsu will be 1 off if that happens, because he has stun on board plus 9 in hand plus ping.
Yeah.
So from Maru's perspective, and from what we can see, he's still alive for 1 more turn, but I'm pretty sure Cheonsu has like so many top decks that could help him.
Okay. So as you said, 1 off lethal for Cheonsu right now. Arcanologist isn't the card to get the job done. There's no secrets left in the deck at all anymore.
Right, so we can actually see the Knuckles interaction, although it means that you'd have to expend the Frostbolt as well to clear the Lyra. But if you're Cheonsu, you're clearing this Lyra every day.
Yeah. No, it's a shame you miss 1 damage here by clearing the Lyra, regardless of how you do it, unless you put in the Kirin Mage and ping it, but then you're wasting Knuckles' ability and missing the 4 damage on the Kirin Mage. So it's a little bit messy either way, but you're not complaining if you're Cheonsu. This game is dramatically in his favor still.
Yeah, I think if you're Cheonsu, you had to read that Maru also didn't have the Dragonfire potion last turn because it would have come down then. So I think that is pretty much the only top deck for Maru that helps him here, or Visions into it.
Sure. Always
So
an extra way.
He can dig with Thalnos and smiting his own Thalnos for an extra. But
that doesn't feel good.
No, not at all.
If the next draw is Dragonfire Potion, then that with Thalnos and the Holy Smite as well. Well, he doesn't even need to drop Thalnos, actually. He can play Dragonfire Potion, then Holy Smite, then Thalnos, and then heal.
Alright, so actually choosing to Fireball the Lyra and forego like the bonus damage from the Knuckles, and I think this is a deliberate to kind of play around Dragonfire a bit more because the Knuckles will survive, so I like it. And Maru gets...
Alright, of pain.
Not going to be good enough.
So that's just not enough.
14. Well, with the smite on the 4/3, he does stay alive for another turn. I mean, based on what we can see.
True. Okay. All right. And Velen stands there as a significant threat, which Cheonsu can't just leave alive and ignore and go face. And Medea's Valet is just a 2/3, like the Arcanologist that was played just before him.
All the secrets have been played. There's still 1 more glyph in Cheonsu's deck, but oh, man.
And hey, this is the problem with Secret Mage, right? Like, it just eventually runs out of steam, and this is what happens. Unfortunately for Cheonsu, he's not drawn either Bittertide Hydra nor Cobalt Scalebane, and they would have been some hugely relevant cards in this matchup.
Right, so if you're Cheonsu, are you really clearing the Valen here? Because investing the 7 damage now isn't relevant if you think that the game will end pretty soon, because 7 damage now and the immediate turnout for Maru is not being able to heal, just an extra 2. So if he places 4 minions on the board, the Valen is only able to trade 1 of them on board, and he would maintain at least 7 damage from what he can see. So I actually like still going face here. Okay, Frostbolting it means that it won't get the trade, so that's even a bit more. Alright, okay, so going for the full clear and now getting the Knuckles value.
Only getting it once, though, it kind of illustrates why Knuckles isn't a card that people actually play, because for 5 mana it just doesn't quite do enough. And now Maru's back on the defensive, but it's not quite as horrible as it was before. He gets to draw an extra card this turn. And
yeah, it has to be a good one, though, because Pint Size is pretty much useless here.
He needs to at least remove 1 damage. Potion of Madness is
insane.
Perfect. allows him to clear up 2 of these minions, including the
Cheonsu
Kazakus.
must be reeling here.
And this is it. This is the turning point of the game. If Cheonsu doesn't pick up that last little bit of damage soon, Maru is just going to slowly and painfully, card by card, take this back.
Yeah, absolutely. It has to be a big minion here. Okay, Frostball.
Oh, it's just out, and it's just a couple turns too late, or just 1 turn too late even.
I just wonder if you had gone face instead of clearing the Velen, would you have had enough? Maybe not, because I'm not sure how the math works with not trading the Knuckles, because Knuckles will deal the damage anyway, but you'd have saved the Frostbolt, so...
Is someone injured?
So...
Gonna play the Circle of Healing to draw the card without wasting, or draw the 2 cards,
Oh,
without
Vision.
wasting hero power.
I think this is
Oh my
slipping out of
goodness.
Cheonsu's reach really quickly.
The card draw. You get the Holy Smite, then you get the Acolyte draw.
It's just that the burst has been depleted from Cheonsu's deck. I'm not aware if he's played the second Fireball, but he has played both Firelands, so...
Another card draw.
It'd have to be Glyph or second Fireball if it's there.
Oh, well, Glyph into Pyroblast is just lethal for the next...
Well...
Well, for the rest of this turn, because Priest of the Feast is going to come down next turn and probably heal for at least 8, including the hero power as well.
It's on Cheonsu to draw the answer this turn.
So he's got 4 damage and needs 3 additional damage. Medee's Valet doesn't cut it. There's no secrets left. Cobalt Scarebane is too late, but Maru can't deal with it.
True. But I feel like Priest of the Feast plus spells to clear is just...
What gets pinged? The cleric?
Spells to heal, my bad. So.
Face. So the cleric is the cleric staying alive means Maru gets an extra card this turn. Oh,
Okay, that is just the nail in the coffin. Heal up, play Anduin. Well,
it's
I guess
kind of scary.
You're not
because-
in range. You're still in range of Glyph Pyroblast.
Yeah, and you die, or you sacrifice all future heal apart from Priest of the Feast.
I definitely like going for the trade first, because one play will put you in range of still like the oddball Pyroblast, but leaving the Cobalt Scalebane up is just conceding another 5 damage anyway.
Yeah, so Maru does have to heal his own face, and then play Anduin this turn. There's no other option. And then next turn, at least he's got 3 spells to play with Priest of the Feast. That's 9 additional health. He's going to play it now and just ignore the Cobalt Scalebane.
All right.
I am very surprised to see this.
Yeah, doesn't this give Cheonsu more outs
I think it does, yeah.
off of Glyph?
Because even if Maru heals for the extra 6, that's only 14 health total. So Glyph into Pyroblast would still just be lethal.
I guess this play has a bit more game against a bigger minion coming down, let's say a top deck Bittertide Hydra.
We have only seen 1 Glyph, right? We saw the one
Yeah,
Glyph that
I'm
Frozen
pretty
Clone
sure.
came out of.
Yes.
Second Scalebane, oh wow. Okay, well now I think Cheonsu needs to change strategy a little bit. He needs to get rid of that Priest of the Feast or get rid of the Northshire Cleric, but one of them has to die.
Yeah, it looks like it's just Cleric and
Yeah.
Face. I don't think he ever wins if he's going for the trade with the Priest of the Feast, so he just has to pray that neither Anduin nor a spell are in hand for Maru. But bad news for Cheonsu. Maru's got the best answer in hand, and he will be out of range of any sort of Glyph nonsense.
The light is betrayed.
Exactly not what Cheonsu wanted to see. There goes Cheonsu's entire board. Everything he's got available to him has now been wiped out, and the Priest of the Feast, with all of that healing potential, still alive. Not to mention the extra 5 armor that Maru now has. There's no way that Cheonsu can get through this.
Yeah, so what's the best? Top deck, Hydra, still not enough.
There it is. But let's see, how much damage is this? 3,
Well,
6, 9?
yeah, if he plays it, any card for Maru basically will be lethal because he could ping it
Yeah.
thrice.
There you go. Game number 2 of the series goes to Cheonsu. Wait, no, sorry, goes to Maru.
Yeah, and I gotta say that's a real heartbreaker for Cheonsu there because
Yeah.
he was trying to target Priest, at least soft target.
Yeah.
So the fact that the Priest slipped through means that I guess this mage loses its best target.
And this is the second time today that we've seen this. A player targeting Priest and then losing to the Priest straight away. It looked like it was going to be Cheonsu's game at the very beginning until that turning point, as we said, where Maru just managed to heal out of range turn by turn.
Yeah,
Cheonsu got that Frostbolt 1 turn too late.
He was always just that little odd bit of damage off, and that's the worst feeling playing an aggro deck, and the control deck just claws its way back up. Anyway, it does mean that Cheonsu has to sweep this Jade Druid, I think, if he wants to advance.
Right, and realistically, what is the chance of him doing that? Well, not too low.
Yeah, he has built a lineup that does pretty decently against Jade Druid, like Silence Priest, like how does the Jade Druid deal with these big minions? That Mage has got a lot of game as well. And of course, Hunter, of course, first arose as a deck because it had some potential against Jade Druid even before the nerfs.
Yeah. And this looks like a decent start from Maru here. Oh, sorry, from Cheonsu. I keep getting them the wrong way around. I apologize. From Cheonsu here at the bottom. Alley Cat, Kindly Grandmother, Bear Shark, 1, 2, 3. It's reasonable. Maybe you consider throwing out the Grandmother and trying to push for something more aggressive?
Yeah, the dream would be the Crackling Razor Maw, of course,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure how greedy you can get. I mean, being able to
it's
have
good
a
enough,
1, 2, 3.
right?
Yeah, I think we take those. And Cheonsu, of course, not running the pirate package, so that Galaka Crawler and Maru's hand is not going to get a very good target, but at least it's an early play. But Maru does have the coin Doomsayer, which is so punishing against aggro decks. Means that he'll be able to get the Galaka Crawler on an empty board later on. Maybe he wants to be a bit more greedy with it, given that the rest of his hand is looking clunky. The coin could help later, but I don't know. I like denying the possibility of a Razor Maw getting too out of hand.
Yeah. Jade Druid kind of lack 2-drops anyway. Like the natural, in the kind of natural deck list, you have Wild Growth. It's not a minion. You have, what's the other one I was about? Oh, Wrath. Also, that's the other card you see on turn 2. Also not a minion. So adding in these Doomsayers and these Galactic Crawlers, it feels like a nice fit for this deck.
And weirdly, we were talking about maybe not keeping the Grandmother, but it actually lines up perfectly against Doomsayer. This is Hunter's premier answer to a coin Doomsayer.
Now, the thing you have to think about whenever you're playing against a Hunter is that turn 4 Houndmaster. That's kind of the first big swing turn for the Hunter.
Sure.
It's like Hunter's version of Rockpool Hunter.
Yeah, that's where they establish dominance.
Right, but unlike with Paladin, where they can do that on turn 2, you actually can play around the Houndmaster a little bit better, and that's what everyone wants to do. Bear Shark makes it very difficult to play around Houndmaster.
Absolutely. Even if Wrath were an answer, it'd be used already, so I guess Maru is just forced. Oh, having drawn Wild Growth, I do prefer that to playing Galaka Crawler here, but Maru disagrees. I guess it's fine because the extra mana wouldn't have mattered in the next turn anyway.
There's no 5-drop, but there is a 6-drop. So next turn, the Wild Growth is going to want to come down.
Right.
Cheonsu going to take Tundra Rhino. It looks pretty good leading into those Savannah Hymens.
Yeah, and look at this deadly shot on the 2-3. I like this from Cheonsu, actually. It seems like a waste, but it's recognition that if this, he's like betting everything on this Bear Shark. If it dies to just a hero power in the trade, then he's going to be in a bad spot, and he had nothing to do with the extra 3 mana anyway, so Hunters like to do that sometimes, be just a bit wasteful to get that extra damage in.
This is going to get completely out of control for Maru very quickly. There's a 1-1 on the board. Tundra Rhino or Bear Shark can make short work of that, and then Maru has no way of clearing up this Rhino.
Right, I mean, do you even trade into the 1-1? I mean, I don't mind just Rhino and push face here. Like, what's the 1-1 going to do?
Yeah, it looks like Cheonsu
Every
agrees
extra
with
bit
you.
of damage matters.
I was sitting there thinking, you know, Cheonsu wants the Tundra Rhino to live more than anything, because he wants to charge in that Savannah Hymane. That's an extra 6 damage. Not trading the Bear Shark in means that swipe and the minion could have traded, but then swipe hero power could have done it anyway. So, yeah, I don't think there was any value in trading whatsoever, and now Maru isn't going to look very happy.
Not too many sites as beautiful as a charging Hymane.
Beautiful? That's one word for it.
Well, I mean, if you're a Hunter fan, and
if you're Cheonsu right now, this looks pretty beautiful. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, you gotta cheer for Cheonsu a little bit because he's down 0-2, and I really don't want to be casting another 3-0 sweep. And I did see Hunter get trampled last set, so pretty good to see that it's shining now.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Maru's going to be able to come back from this.
The best he can do is play the Behemoth.
There's still no way of clearing this Tundra Rhino, and there's still a Savannah Hymane in the hand ready to come out and just end the game.
Yeah, or even Animal Companion and Razor Maw. I mean, you could get Charge and Wind Fury somehow. Charge from the Rhino, adapt Wind Fury. There's just so many ways for Cheonsu to win, but I'm pretty sure this is... is there any world where this isn't lethal, is my question. Sure, playing the Taunt and then trading off the Hymane will leave 8 damage on board, but like, there's just a lot Cheonsu can roll off of the companion and the Razor Maw.
Maru's just taking his time here, trying to work out anything he can do, but this game is just over.
Yeah, I mean, if he wants to remove the most damage on board per se, it's the same whether you play the high main or the bear shark, I think, because you're removing 4 damage anyway. Yeah.
I actually only removed 2 damage
yeah.
this way.
Oh, yeah. I bet. It technically removed more damage to get rid of the bear shark.
Ah,
so.
Scavenging hyena.
Yeah, this has to be lethal.
And
there must be a
Razor
million
Maw.
ways to do this. Yeah. So, yeah, start with the companion because you're playing the 2, 2, and 3. So.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, there's no reason not to. Any companion is 4 damage here. Well, Leok's even more than 4 damage. Scavenging Hyena is a lot of damage. May as well throw attack or Wind Fury or Poisonous on this. It doesn't matter which. 1-1, okay, that works.
Easy peasy.
Gains every attack which is lost to this trade.
Yeah, he's just maximizing the damage here. And finally, a clean win for the Hunter.
Yeah, very, very strong performance from Cheonsu there. There was almost no hesitation from him in that game. Solid gameplay. He knew exactly what he was doing as soon as he picked up that Tundra Rhino from the tracking.
And we see a lot of recent Hunter lists kind of cutting Tundra Rhino because if you don't have minions on board or in hand that can curve right after, then it seems really lackluster. But I do like the inclusion because Hunter fundamentally is all about that snowball, right? And nothing snowballs quite like Tundra Rhino.
Yeah, Tundra Rhino and Scavenging Hyena is another card that,
Yes.
I mean, Alley Cat into Scavenging Hyena on turn 1 and turn 2 can just end games there and then, right? And as you said, Hunter's all about snowballing. Howlmaster, a card that we were talking about quite a bit that game, although it wasn't actually present in Cheonsu's hand, it snowballs. But now Cheonsu just needs to get a win with that mage, which he came so close with, and the priest.
Yes. Again, trying to sweep Jade Druid is not the easiest task, but with the
These are good decks to do it with.
Post-patch as well. I mean, the absence of Innervate as a playable card these days makes it more difficult for Jade Druid to deal with aggressive decks. So I think the Mage has a really good shot, and then it'll come down to the Silence Priest being able to draw the cards in the right order, of course.
Yeah, of course. I'd forgotten that this is a Silence Priest rather than a Rosakas Priest. Again, it's such unfamiliar territory. I expect Highlander Priest or Big Priest, not necessarily this deck. But we're going to see the Mage again first.
Right, and this is looking like probably a full toss for Cheonsu here.
Yes.
I don't play this deck so much, but there might be an argument for keeping Intellect going second against Jade Druid. But I prefer to just like dig for that Mana Worm or Arcanologist or even Apprentice are all good.
Top priority is getting that Mana Worm down on turn 1. If you can do that, especially with the coin, then you can do some amazing things. I guess Mana Worm into coin Arcane Intellect is pretty good, but then you'd prefer Mana Worm into coin Secret. Like coin Counterspell is the dream. So yeah, I agree. I think he just throws out everything.
And Maru with a decent hand to deal with aggro. His Mana Worm is going to get Wrath, but then there's no answer for the Apprentice.
No, Mana Worm, fine, it gets Wrath, then Apprentice. Then Maru has to play Wild Growth, and Cheonsu starts to build together a board. He can play the Arcane Intellect with the Apprentice still there.
Yeah, and I'm all eyes on that Bittertide Hydra. It's pretty far off from being played, but everyone knows it.
Oh, look at that.
Jade Druid's got a hard time dealing with that.
Maru going to just ramp up so that he can Wrath and Hero Power next turn, or even Jade Blossom next turn. Maybe he's going to ignore Cheonsu's minions
I
for
do
now.
like the Blossom into Fandral Wrath. Very strong swing.
Yeah.
Although it does run pretty badly against a lot of secrets that Cheonsu could play, but we see that they aren't in hand yet. So
Yeah, Fandral dies to the Fireball as well pretty easily next turn, and Maru can only Wrath one of these minions, and not until next turn, so... No, okay, we're going to go with Wrath with the Galactic. Okay, this is a safer play.
yeah, and full respect for the Apprentice because like being able to do something like Arcane Intellect plus a Secret all at once is just too much too quickly.
Dream draw that turn for Cheonsu would have been the second Mana Worm, so he can play Mana Worm and then coin out the Arcane Intellect and get the value trade
Yeah,
to
well,
it.
this is an excellent turn for Maru as he's able to take not only the ramp, but a value trade on the Mana Worm. So This hand looking super clunky from Cheonsu here.
We can coin out Hydra. That's that has to be the. Oh, okay. I was going to say there would have been a consideration for Glyph and Ping that turn, but the speed at which Cheonsu just nope, I'm putting my 8 on the board.
I mean, I like this. It just seems way too slow. But Maru has an excellent answer in terms of Malfurion. Taking the taunt seems decent to me.
Yeah. Well, either of them seem okay actually, but I like the taunt
Poisonous
a lot.
at worst will have to eat Frostbolt, but in case Cheonsu like picks up something like Volcanic off of Glyph or something like that, the taunts pretty much accomplish the same thing. Like preventing a Hydra from attacking face twice is about as good as killing it off.
Yeah, whilst also dealing 6 damage to it in the process.
Absolutely.
Sorry, 6 damage to your opponent's hero in the process.
So Maru really just debating which of these is better. So we're in favor of taunt. Let's see what Maru thinks. He agrees. All right. So I do like just preemptively trading into the Hydra and just preventing any ping value for Cheonsu here. So, all right, Kirin Tor helps this hand come together a lot better.
That's one of the better draws in the deck, actually. Ice Block doesn't seem
Intellect
too
all
effective,
day
so
here.
Intellect does. I like that a lot.
So the clock is ticking for Cheonsu to put together some more threats because as soon as Maru hits that infestation, it seems like it'll be way too late. But
unless Cheonsu has a big board already, right? So that he can just ignore the 5/5 or value trade the 5/5 somehow. Or just fireball it and keep going face with everything he's got. He's going to take the ice block though.
Right, and actually having double counter spell could prevent this infestation from coming down for a while. So Maru would have to draw some kind of spells to test for it. But
this was one of the times in which Innovate was completely absurd because you could test for the counter spell first with Innovate, then play Ultimate Infestation on the same turn. That's no longer possible unless you have the coin in hand still, because there are no 0 mana spells that are getting played in Druid. You wait until Moonfire comes back, and then
the best he could do is Wrath, and he already used one early on. So, like in Cheonsu's mind, like the worst spell in his opinion, or from his perspective, to get tested for is probably Swipe, and still that's like a Swipe expended.
Something else to consider as well about the Ice Block pickup is that it means that Medivh Valet will be active for the rest of this game. Unlike in the previous game where Cheonsu drew the Medivh Valet where the damage would have been lethal, but it wasn't. Now, that's never going to be the case.
Yeah. So Doomsayer actually the best timing possible for Cheonsu here. And it looks like he's forced to fireball off the 1/5 and trade into the Doomsayer. But then that means that the Hydra dies on board. So I'm wondering if he ever just cashes in the damage. Everything seems awkward.
I expected to see the fireball in the trade there, but I guess this isn't too difficult because, as you said, Maru would have traded the minions in anyway. The Bittertide Hydra would have also dealt a lot of damage to Cheonsu's face in the process.
Okay, wow. So Spreading Plague played to get rid of the counterspell and effectively neutralizing Maru's turn.
Ooh, that's a turn.
Yeah, look at this Christmas Mage.
Do we play a fireball as well? Do we make the most of the extra mana? No, we don't. We just ping.
I'm late. This turn I don't think it's that relevant yet because you can hold the fireballs for an indefinite amount of time.
It's just because you get the Kirin Tor Mage value. It feels like a shame not to use it.
Right, yeah, sure. But this way you fit in the ping, which has definitely more value in the long run as well.
3 secrets down. One's going to hit Fandral. That's great, but what are you going to do? How are you going to use that Ultimate Infestation, Maru?
Yeah, it's just not going to get played until Maru draws something like Swipe or the other Wrath.
And it has to be the turn after as well, because you can't test for the counterspell and play it at the same time.
Right. But from Maru's perspective, at least he has a taunt to get in the way, and he's already tested for Mirror Entity. But that's a sick pickup for Cheonsu here.
He's gonna want to be hitting the Fandral with that buff though, as we can see Primordial Drake gonna come down from the other side.
Yeah.
Nah, it
Ooh,
just
that's
dies.
unlucky. So it's an easy Drake plus hero power on the Scalebane here for Maru.
That's really strong, actually. Gonna pull out one of Cheonsu's fireballs. Still no spell in the hand for Maru.
Yeah, Cheonsu really wants to see, I guess, Firelands Portal here. Okay, Frostball decent. It means that the Fandral survives another turn, but this hero power from Maru, getting the Druid DK down really early.
Yeah. At least it means that he's dealing damage with it rather than armoring up. The mage really doesn't want to see the Druid armor up.
Sure, but I mean, effectively getting rid of a minion with it is like armoring up, because
Yeah.
that means you lose the continuous damage.
Yeah.
In fact, it might even be worse for you, but
That's kind of what the Frostbolt did, right? So like he could have traded in Fandral, then the Druid would have armored up that turn, so he dealt a lot more damage then by playing the Frostbolt when he did. And now Cheonsu is just gonna push.
yeah. Maru top decking Aya, by the way, that has to be one of the best draws he could have gotten, if not the best. So now he just takes some trick. He can
You said swipe, there it is.
proc this, armor up, and now it's on Cheonsu to draw the fabled glyph into Pyroblast.
Now, it hasn't happened for him yet, and we've already had a glyph this game. That's where the ice block came from. So
So
Maru is
is
actually praying right
going
now.
into Navi Prey mode.
And his prays are being answered at the moment. But I think that Cheonsu still has one turn to... Oh no, because Ultimate Infestation is going to just end the game.
yeah.
I was going to say, if he just hero powers, then sure, Pyroblast would still win the game next turn.
And
but
Cheonsu knows it. I'm sure that he's been keeping track that this card has been in hand for so long.
quite a long time, yeah.
And the Plague was expended just to make way for it to get played safely. So this is going to be the nail in the coffin. Wouldn't be surprised to see the concede come out from Cheonsu here.
It's been a long journey for Cheonsu. He almost made it into the top 4, but sadly, this is where it ends. It's been a long road to get through the single elimination bracket. Again, 512 players signed up within 12 minutes. There's that Medu's Valet, but it's not quite good enough.
So really unfortunate for Cheonsu here, but if we look at it from, I guess, the local Korean perspective, it's kind of nice to see players that aren't that well known in the international scene kind of making a name for themselves as well. Cheonsu, of course, pretty well known for making Last Call last year. So definitely not the last we'll see of either of these players.
A huge congratulations due for Maru, though. This is his moment. He's there. We're going to be seeing him again tomorrow in the top 4. Kind of sad that, again, that's another Silence Priest lineup that's been eliminated. It's